All right. Well, good afternoon, everyone. I see that we are now live streaming on YouTube. I want to welcome everyone to the Higher Education and Employment Advancement Committee and our meeting on today, March 11th. I'm going to just go over some real quick, brief rules of the road here, introduce myself, and then I'm going to hand it off to my co-chair to walk us through the agenda. My name is Derek Slapp, the State Senator for the 5th State Senate District, just appointed as co-chair to the Higher Education Committee this week on Monday. So lots to get up to speed on, but I'm thrilled to be with you all. I would say, standard kind of rules apply that when we are voting, members should have their cameras on and state their name, their title, and whether they vote, yes or no. And we're going to refrain from any messages in the chat, as this is the public's business, and we want obviously everything to be seen and heard by the public. And we'll be going a little bit slower than maybe we would if we were in a normal, one of the normal committee rooms in the LOB, and that's mainly for our clerk to be able to make sure that she properly records all of our votes. We will be leaving the votes open for 2 hours after the close of the meeting for members who have, conflicts. And I do want the public to know, members who are watching, in the public now, that we many of us have conflicting schedules with other committee meetings and assignments. So if you are wondering where your state rep or state senator is, they are probably in another meeting, and they'll be following up and making sure that they get their vote in on time. So with that said, I do want to acknowledge Jeannie Phillips, who is the clerk, and so you're going to be hearing her voice in just a moment too. And then at the very end of the meeting, Jeannie will let everyone know when our next committee meeting is going to be held. But that said, now I'll hand it off to my good co-chair, Representative Elliott. Now the floor is yours.
Thank you, Co-Chair Slapp. First, I want to hand it off to Ranking Members Haynes and Whitcoast, if you have any initial comments before we begin today.
Nope, and the tradition of Higher Ed Committee, let's get going.
All right, let's do this. So what we would like to do today is start with a consent calendar. So could we get a motion to start a consent calendar?
So moved. Rep Case.
Moved by Rep Case, seconded by? Second by Representative Rochelle. Could we get some comment from members?
So I think we would need a roll call to create the consent calendar, and then we would go to comment. Is that correct, Madam Clerk?
Right, we don't need a roll call. We just need to have, you have to have a motion to JF or JFS each bill, and then someone can add it to consent.
Very good.
So we do have to go bill by bill then to add it to consent first?
You usually make the motion for a bill, like you'd make a motion to JFS, item number 1, House Bill 6229. Someone would make the motion, and then they would suggest or offer to have it added to the consent calendar.
Got it. So do we have a motion to JFS House Bill 6229?
So moved.
So moved by Representative Smith and seconded by Representative Haddad. Do we have any comments? Do we have a, let's see, do we have a, nope, this is not going to go on the consent calendar. Seeing no comments, can we just go ahead and have a voice vote on this, Jeannie? No, we cannot, says.
You have to do a roll call.
I'm sorry, everybody. It's going to be a real slow day for us. So do we need a motion to have a roll call?
Nope. You've got the motion to JFS it. It's a motion to JFS it to the floor.
Great. So we have the motion. Let's go to the roll call then.
What, I see Senator Maroney has his hand up.
Go ahead, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Do we need to state the LCO number for the substitute language before we vote on it?
So it is LCO 4701, and I can just run really quickly what that substitute language is. So lines 51 through 55 requires UConn BOT in addition to BOR to consult with DSS to identify educational programs that would qualify as an E&T program, energy and tech program that would increase a student's employability. Line 60 to 63 requires the BOT to identify educational programs that would meet SNAP E&T requirements and to maximize the number of programs offered at their institution. Line 64 to 66 allows any independent higher education institution in the state to consult with DSS for the purposes of administering a survey to collect data on food insecure students. Line 67 to 73 requires BOT to update its online list of qualified SNAP E&T programs offered at UConn. And lastly, there are just small minor technical and conforming changes. Representative Vail, do you have a question?
Actually, a comment. Is this some, all right, like, I'll start with a question. Or is this something we were talking about putting on consent?
This is not going to go on consent.
Okay, so we're going in order. Okay, I follow. Thank you.
Seeing no other questions, make sure your cameras are on and you are not muted. We are going to vote to JFS House Bill 6229. Is that correct, Jeannie? Did I say that correctly?
You did, thank you.
Fantastic. All right, go right ahead.
Representative Elliott,
Representative Elliott votes yes. Did I come up?
Senator Slapp,
Senator Slapp votes yes.
Representative Haynes,
Representative Haynes votes yes.
Senator Whitcos.
Whitcoast votes yes.
Okay, Senator, could you say, I don't see you. Could you say that again, please?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Jeannie. Whitcoast votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Turco,
Representative Turco votes yes.
Senator Flexer,
Senator Flexer votes yes.
Representative Ackert,
Representative Ackert votes no.
Representative Case,
Representative Case votes no.
Representative Exum,
Representative Exum votes yes.
Representative Farrar,
Representative Farrar votes yes.
Representative Haddad,
Representative Haddad votes yes.
Senator Haskell,
Senator Haskell votes yes.
Senator Lopes,
Senator Lopes votes yes.
Senator Maroney,
Senator Maroney votes yes.
Representative Napoli,
Representative Napoli votes yes.
Representative Rochelle,
Representative Rochelle votes yes.
Representative Simmons, Representative Smith,
Representative Smith votes yes.
Representative Stallworth, Representative Vail,
Representative, you're muted.
I missed it. Representative Vail votes no.
Representative Wood.
Wood votes no.
Well, could you say that? You didn't get on camera. Could you say that again, please?
Wood votes no.
Good, thank you. Representative Ziogas.
Ziogas is yes.
Okay, could you say that again, please? I don't have you on camera, sir.
I'm on camera here. Ziogas is yes.
Yeah, but it's my camera, the one that's being broadcast, sir. Thank you.
I can't help it. I'm on here.
Okay, so the motion to JFS House Bill 6229 passes. We will now move on to.
Sir, please don't say that. Please don't say that. We're
Don't
keeping
say
the
that.
vote open.
Okay, we're keeping the vote open. We'll see if it passes. We'll move on to the next bill, Senate Bill number 954. This is number 2 of header 3. This is an act requiring the reporting of accidental deaths at institutions of higher education. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
So moved by Whitco, seconded by, I think it was Representative Vail. Do we have any comments? It looks like we do from Senator Haskell.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair. I just very briefly wanted to thank the committee for addressing this issue on a bipartisan basis. It's incredibly important to constituents of mine, and I think it ought to be important to all of us to hold campuses accountable by creating a level of transparency and making sure that no serious injury or accidental death is overlooked. So on behalf of the Houseman family and so many others in my district who testified on this bill, I wanted to thank you for voting it out, bringing it for a voting committee on an expeditious manner. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Seeing no other questions, I'd like to add this to the consent calendar. Is that a motion to do that?
I think it's just without objection, you can move it there.
Okay, without objection, I'm going to add Senate Bill 954 to the consent calendar. Seeing no objection, we'll move on to the next bill. Next bill is House Bill 5895. That's an act establishing a task force on the reduction of student loan debt. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
So moved. Second.
So moved by, I missed who that was, I'm sorry.
Isn't it?
Representative Turco.
Did you catch who that was, Jeannie? There's too many voices on here.
I thought Representative Turco did the motion, but I didn't catch a second.
Rep Turco made the motion. Who seconded?
I seconded it, Josh.
Seconded by Senator Whitcos. Just for clarity, when you make a motion and you second, could you just say your name just for ease? So I will open it up to questions and comments. Go ahead, Representative Turco.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As we all know, we have spoken at length in this committee, especially over the last couple of years, how serious student loan debt is for Connecticut residents, being one of the highest states in the entire nation with the average per person student loan debt. And then we've had conversations to learn that there's a lot of inequity on who actually has that student loan debt. That's why the JFS language that's here will also look at race, background, geographic location, ethnicity, gender, and look at exactly who is struggling with student loan debt and work to come up with a plan to help them and present that to our committee by the start of 2022. So it is my hopes that this task force will do the good work that so many other task forces that the Higher Education Committee has created and put forth some good ideas for legislation that then we will all be discussing and debating and hopefully voting out of this committee in next year's legislative session. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Representative. Any other questions or comments before we move on? Seeing none, I would like to move this to the consent calendar. Are there any objections?
Representative Elliott?
Yes.
When we do this, if you took a motion in a second, I think you have to have a vote. I think you have to do a consent before the motion in the second.
I'm seeing
if there's a consent calendar, the consent calendar just goes without a vote, and then we vote on it afterwards.
I don't know enough about the process to tell you yes or no. Does someone else want to weigh in?
I disagree. I think you can check with LCO, but it gives, the motion allows for comment period. And then if there's no objection, then you can move it to a consent. That was my understanding, but we should have LCO weigh in.
Noreen?
Yes, that's right. There needs to be a motion to JF or JFS, and then you can open it up for discussion. And at that point, without objection, you can move it to consent.
Okay, so the process I'm doing so far is okay?
Yes,
Okay.
every committee does it different for some reason, but that's okay. We'll go with it. It's weird.
Okay. So again, want to ensure that item number 3, House Bill 5895 is on the consent calendar. Are there any objections? Seeing no objections, we'll move on to item number 4, which is House Bill number 6404, an act funding the debt-free community college program. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Representative Turco.
Senator Lopes.
So moved by who? Sorry, one more time.
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Representative Haddad, seconded by
I'll second Representative Turco.
Representative Turco seconds. Do we have any discussion? Seeing no discussion, go ahead, Representative Haddad.
Yeah, I'll just say very briefly, the PAC program, I think, is one of the more meaningful things that we can do, but obviously only if we provide funding for it. We were sort of derailed last year when the pandemic struck with being able to act in a way that would fully fund the PAC program. This bill corrects that error and identifies several funding sources that will provide enough resources to the community college system in order to make the PAC program whole and real, and a very important opportunity for students in Connecticut to be able to go to community college, attend full-time, and do it tuition and fee-free. So, the PAC program will really only survive if we make a commitment of funding. This does so without with some new and novel funding sources that won't require taxes to be raised. And I fully support this initiative and hope that we can send, I think that the motion is to send this to the Appropriations Committee, where we can build it into a budget if we can garner enough support here and garner enough support there. So I hope that members of the committee will support this initiative. I think it's important for students in Connecticut to know that they can go to community college and can do it without incurring the kind of cost and debt that we've seen in the past. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Representative. Moving on to Senator Haskell, followed by Representative Turco.
Thanks so much, Mr. Chair. Hard to top the words of my colleague, Representative Haddad. I did just want to note that there are multiple funding sources contemplated in this legislation, and I think it's a really interesting when you dig into the testimony from the Board of Regents that, of course, the PACT program was successful this year in helping to stem the dramatic decline in enrollment at community colleges that we're seeing across the country. I believe more than 3,000 students decided to participate in PACT, yet still with the funding that was made available to them, they had to turn away thousands of students. That is not something that we should accept in the state of Connecticut. We ought to be doing everything we can to get more students into classrooms so that they're prepared to start those 21st century jobs as soon as they graduate. So I'm really grateful that the committee leadership has prioritized this bill, and I look forward to supporting it.
Great, thank you, Senator. Moving on to Representative Turco. You put your hand down, then back up again. You still want to go?
Yeah, I was putting it down because I was expecting to speak now.
Go right ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't remember if we had a lot of students testify in this bill in front of the Higher Education Committee, but in the Higher Education Subcommittee on the Appropriations last week, we had a lot of students testify. And I tell you them, all my colleagues, if you heard the heartfelt story of the students that are participating in the PAC program that told us committee members that they would never be able to go to college if it wasn't for this program. This program is making a difference in their lives, to give them hope, to give them an opportunity to earn a degree, to get a job, to contribute to our workforce and really help our state succeed. And we know that it's, most of the new jobs are going to be created going forward are going to require some level of higher education. So we'll at least get that associate's degree and not add to that student loan debt. We are making dreams come true. We are giving people a real future. So that testimony, it really got to me and it made me say, boy, if there's one of the most important things that we could do this entire session that helps all of our communities in the state, it is this bill. So I urge my colleagues to please support it, at least move it on to the Appropriations Committee, and then we can figure out the budgeting side from there. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Representative. Next, we have Representative Wood, followed by Representative Haynes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And could you all please refresh my memory on what these new funding sources are for this program?
Senator Haskell, would you like to weigh in on that? I don't want to throw you under the bus.
I know I'd be more than happy to. Sorry, Mr. Chair, I just had to get my camera on. Representative Wood, thanks so much for the question. As I read the legislation, there are three funding sources stipulated that are options to the Appropriations Committee as they consider next steps. One is the iLottery program, which in other states has generated tens of millions of dollars in revenue. Of course, it's not currently authorized in the state of Connecticut, but if it were to be authorized, making sure that revenue generated from iLottery is actually spent on education fulfills a decades-old promise that lottery revenue would go to students. The other funding possibility, as I recall, is that they created millions of dollars to the Dalio partnership that ultimately did not move forward. Those dollars were appropriated for the purposes of workforce development. It's very much in line with the PACT program, as my good colleague Representative Turco outlined. I believe there's somewhere in the range of $14 million still that is yet to be spent from the Dalio appropriation. That would more than cover the cost of PACT for 2 years. And then finally, there's the option that the state could bond a small amount of money to create an endowment to fund PACT in perpetuity. Any one of those options would more than satisfy the needs of this program and allow thousands of students to enroll. It should the bill move favorably out of this committee to the Appropriations Committee, it will be in the hands of our colleagues over there to decide which is the best option.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Senator Haskell. So I have a couple of concerns with this. One, these are all potential revenue sources. And 2 years ago, we passed the legislation that would fund debt-free college, and we were unable to fulfill that promise. So I don't want to create more false hope for students. Another concern I have is, as long as I've been serving in Hartford, which is now a decade, we hear continually that so many of the kids that go to the community colleges are not fully prepared. They graduate from their public high schools not prepared to attend college. And so often we have to have them take remedial courses. And I think at some point we have to hold the State Department of Education and the local towns accountable for that. I don't believe we should be funding students at community college for skills they should have gotten in high school. I don't think it's fair to the kids that we don't provide them a better, stronger education at the K through 12 level. And lastly, I would like to see a more sustainable funding stream. I think there's a bill before the Finance Committee, House Bill 6175, which would allow a tax credit for any contribution given to a scholarship granting organization. I think that's sustainable. It would encourage many people in our state to participate in contributing to these funds. And I think it creates this sustainable revenue for this program. For those reasons, I will be voting no on this legislation today, although I understand the value, and our son attended Norwalk Community College, so I'm a big proponent of the community college system. And I think it is the gem in our state and joy in our state, and provides a springboard, if you will, for so many students. But at this point, I don't believe this is sustainable, and I don't believe we should be creating false hope in students. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Representative. Moving on to Representative Haynes, Ranking Member Haynes, followed by Member Case.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I have to echo what my colleague, Representative Wood said, but I also want to appreciate what Senator Haskell said as well. I do think that our community colleges are the gem that they are, and we need to do what we can to get students to go there. I think there needs to be more collaboration with the Education Committee in dealing with what Representative Wood just said. The other piece of this, and I've said this since day one when I showed up at this committee, was that Senator Haskell and I have gone back and forth in regards to this, is that once we have these students that come out of their community college, there needs to be some level of autonomy to the state of Connecticut. If we're going to give away a free college, we need to have a guaranteed workforce from that. So I think we need to keep talking, and I think we need to keep the communication going on this bill. And I think if there's a way that we can put in some directives in regards to getting some workforce promise from this, I'd hate to give away a college degree, whether it's a associate's degree or not, and then have them move to Jersey or Utah or wherever they might want to move to. So I really want to see that we get some workforce strengthening from the free college, debt-free college. So thank you, and those are my comments.
Thank you, Ranking Member Haynes. Next, move on to Representative Case, followed by my co-chair, Senator Slapp.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to echo what Rep. Wood and my good Ranking Member Haynes. I'm just concerned with giving some false hope going to appropriations. I mean, I'm in a hearing right now with bills of over $200+ million. we have a budget put forward by the governor. Obviously, that's not what the legislature wants. We have a lot of people out there who have hundreds of thousands of dollars in student loans, and we're not really doing anything for them. We are looking forward to our younger population moving forward. And I would like a commitment from the workforce that, you know, if we're going to do something like this, that, you know, it's going to be able to be maintained and jobs will be out there for them here in Connecticut. So for that, I may reserve my vote for a no, and if we can get it out on the floor. But we have some difficult times coming up on appropriations right now, and I don't want to give any false hope coming out of the committee. So thank you very much.
Appreciate your comments, Representative. And it looks like Senator Slapp, you have the final word.
Thank you, Representative Elliott. I do want to just remark that we know about 87%, I believe, of folks who attend our community colleges actually stay here and become part of the workforce. So if we're concerned about the brain drain, investing in our community colleges and the students is an absolute no-brainer, at least to me. And I do think it's important for those who are watching to know that we're not talking about free college, it's debt-free, and there is a significant difference there. But mainly I want to just also really commend the former chairs of this committee, neither of whom are chairing this committee anymore, but I think this is really part of their legacy. Representative Haddad and Senator Haskell, kudos to you. Through your leadership, we're at this point where I think we just now need to support this important initiative. And I do think there are some tools here that hopefully we're going to be passing this on to the next level that we'll be able to utilize to make sure that there is real hope for our community college students. So thank you again, and I do urge my colleagues to vote in the affirmative. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Slapp. Seeing no other questions, we are now going to vote on Roman numeral 3, item number 4, which is House Bill number 6404. We'll be JFing to appropriations. Could you turn on your screens and unmute yourself when you vote?
Representative Elliott,
Representative Elliott votes yes.
Senator Slapp,
Senator Slapp votes yes.
Representative Haynes,
Representative Haynes votes yes.
Senator Whitghost.
Senator Whitghost votes yes.
Could you say that again, please? I'm sorry, I don't have you on my screen.
Sorry about that. Senator Whitghost votes yes.
Thank you, sir. Representative Turco,
Representative Turco votes yes.
Senator Flexer.
Senator Flexer votes yes.
There she is. Representative Ackert,
Representative Ackert votes no.
Representative Case,
Representative Case votes no.
Representative Exum,
Representative Exum votes yes.
Representative Farrar,
Representative Farrar votes yes.
Representative Haddad,
Representative Haddad votes yes.
Senator Haskell,
Senator Haskell votes yes.
Senator Lopes,
Senator Lopes votes yes.
Senator Maroney,
Senator Maroney votes yes.
Representative Napoli,
Senator Napoli votes yes.
Representative Rochelle,
Representative Rochelle votes yes.
Representative Simmons, Representative Smith,
Representative Smith votes yes.
Representative Stallworth, Representative Vale,
Representative Vale votes no.
Representative Wood,
Wood votes no.
Representative Ziogas,
Ziogas votes no. Yes, I'm sorry. My vote is yes.
thank you.
Keeping us on our toes, Representative. Moving on to Roman numeral 3, item number 6, Senate Bill number 997, and we're on number 5. It's a Senate Bill number 996, an act concerning fundraising by the Foundation of the University of Connecticut. Do we have a motion to JF to the floor?
Senator Whitcoast moves.
Second, Wood seconds.
Senator Whitcoast moves. Senator Representative Wood seconds. Do we have any discussion? Senator Whitcoast, go right ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to thank the committee members for moving this bill forward. I think this finally closes the issue that we've had with the UConn Foundation. This is a performance-based metrics piece of legislation where they have to raise $5 for every $1 that they spend. This is something that we've seen year in and year out, that one of our top universities in our state, our flagship university, who always has an increase in student enrollment, has the ability to raise funds that really go directly to the students, whether it's by putting in a chair of a department or providing additional student aid, financial aid to our kids. Something that I'm glad that this committee is moving forward, and urge everybody's support. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator. Moving on to Representative Haddad.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I wanted to sort of thank the work that Senator Whitcoast and others have put in to this piece of legislation. The success at UConn's foundation has been remarkable over the past few years. Their endowment has grown to over $500 million, and that's growth that we should be supporting. It's only been made possible through the service agreement that they have with the public institution of UConn as a nonprofit agency. The foundation itself does not have the resources it needs in order to raise the amount of money that's necessary, really, to make a very important and impactful contribution to the university. So I think that this is a great piece of legislation. I think that it makes stronger even the oversight and the reporting requirements that we put in place a couple of years ago, by also providing an assurance that when the foundation is successful at doing their job, that we don't penalize them. And that just works to the favor of our students. And so thank you to the folks who worked on this piece of legislation, and I look forward to supporting it today and on the floor of the House when it gets there.
Thank you, Representative Haddad. Ranking Member Haynes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just was going to mention that we could put this on the consent calendar.
Great. Seeing no other comments, let's get this on the consent calendar. Do we have any objections? Seeing none, Roman numeral number 3, item number 5, Senate Bill 996 is now on the consent calendar. Moving on, we have Roman numeral number 3, item number 6, which is Senate Bill number 997, an act concerning an expansion of the membership of the Board of Trustees of the University of Connecticut and the voting rights of the faculty members of the Board of Regents for Higher Education. Do we have a movement to JFS this to the floor?
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Representative Haddad. Do we have a second?
Smith seconds.
Representative Smith seconds. Do we have any discussion? Representative Wood, go right ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I'm not usually a no on a number of bills, but I'm going to be a no on this one as well today. And here's why. I've served on a number of boards. That's how I came to public service in Hartford, is all the board work I've done. I know the substance of the decisions and the conversations that happen on a board of trustees. Our state universities deserve might not be quite the right word. People who serve on a board like that, it's like a big corporate board. They should be qualified. They should have life experience. They should be able to understand the conversations and be able to make decisions that life experience brings. So I do not support students being on the main board at UConn or any of the state universities. So I will be opposing it for that reason. I think students, certainly their voices have great value. It's actually some of the best conversations I have in district are with students. Their enthusiasm is joyful. However, it's having raised 3 children, frontal cortex was always something that we focused on, good decision-making in the frontal cortex. And that doesn't develop fully in women until they're 22 and young men until they're 25. So for that reason, I am a no on this legislation. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. Moving on to Ranking Member Senator Whitcoast.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to thank the committee leadership and those that worked on the JFS language on this bill. I was originally a no, but I'm voting in favor of this today. I think that my concerns about making sure that they were not part of executive session where personnel issues were going to be discussed, or strategy sessions for collective bargaining, since some of them are directly impacted by that, has been put into the language that allows me to vote yes. And I want to thank you all publicly for that. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Whitcos. Seeing no other questions or comments, we are going to vote on Bill number 997, item number 6. If you could ready yourselves by turning on your camera and unmuting. Go right ahead, Jeannie.
Representative Elliott,
Representative Elliott votes yes.
Senator Slapp,
Senator Slapp votes yes.
Representative Haynes,
Representative Haynes votes yes.
Senator Whitcos,
Senator Whitcos votes yes.
Representative Turco,
Representative Turco votes yes.
Senator Flexer,
Senator Flexer votes yes.
Representative Ackert,
Representative Ackert votes no.
Representative Case,
Representative Case votes no.
Representative Exum,
Representative Exum votes yes.
Representative Farrar,
Representative Farrar votes yes.
Representative Haddad,
Representative Haddad votes yes.
Senator Haskell,
Senator Haskell votes yes.
Senator Lopes,
Senator Lopes votes yes.
Senator Maroney,
Senator Maroney votes yes.
Representative Napoli,
Representative Napoli votes yes.
Representative Rochelle,
Representative Rochelle votes yes.
Representative Simmons,
Representative Simmons votes yes.
Representative Smith,
Representative Smith votes yes.
Representative Stallworth,
Representative Stallworth votes yes.
thank you, sir. Representative Vale,
Representative Vale votes yes.
Representative Wood,
Wood votes no.
could you didn't get on my camera. Could you say that one more time, please?
Yes, Wood votes no.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Representative Ziogas,
Ziogas votes yes.
thank you.
Moving on to Roman numeral number 3, item number 7, House Bill number 5545, an act concerning the budget of the Connecticut State Colleges and Universities. This is to JF to the floor. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Representative Wood. Do we have a second?
Second, Haynes.
Second by Ranking Member Haynes. Do we have any discussion? Seeing none, I would ask that we move this to consent calendar. Do we have any disagreement? Seeing none, we'll move on to the next item in our list. This is Roman numeral number 3, item number 8 for House Bill number 6403, an act requiring legislative approval for the merger or closing of institutions within the Connecticut State Colleges and Universities. This movement would be to JF to the floor. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
So moved.
So moved by Representative Turco. Do we have a second?
Second, Representative Wood.
Second by Representative Wood. Do we have any discussion? I'll give people a moment. Senator Whitcos, go right ahead.
I just wanted to flag it. I'm going to be voting no, so I didn't want to object to your moving it to the consent calendar. This is a very difficult bill to vote against because we all want to see the Board of Regents do the right thing by doing everything they can in their power to keep our colleges open so the students and the faculty that work there have a place to call home. And but I've been involved in a closure in my district with the University of Connecticut closing the Torrington branch, which I did support. However, the backlash was tremendous from the folks that really didn't know enough about it. And I'm talking about the folks that lived in that area. We had a campus open for, I think it was 180 students, or maybe it was 88 students. I don't recall exactly off the top of my head. But the deal that we worked out with those that were going there was far better than what they were receiving now. The money that was spent on that was just, which really, if you looked at the value, wasn't there. The money could have been invested more appropriately in other campuses. But now we're seeing that happen. And I would just hate to see that this become a political football by the legislature getting involved. I think we flexed our muscle a few years ago when the Board of Regents tried to close one of the community college campuses. And I think we shot across their bow saying, don't you ever do that unless you've come to us beforehand and given us full reasons why and your plan moving forward. And as the colleges, the Board of Regents moves towards an application for Nietzsche, I just don't think that I wouldn't want to see any type of forecast or roadblock put into that at this time. And I think this bill may be doing something like that. That's why I'm be voting no. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Ranking Member Whitkos. Moving on to Senator Haskell, followed by Representative Vale.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I just want to associate myself with the remarks of Senator Whitkos. I certainly understand the intent of this legislation, and I remain frustrated that there is such a divide, it seems, between faculty and administration when it comes to the Students First plan. This may be a funny thing to say as a member of the legislature's Higher Education and Employment Advancement Committee, but I do think that there's an important wall, at least there ought to be, between academia and politics. And I would be inclined to support the bill if it were just preventing closures. I want to make sure that every student has convenient access to a community college campus in Connecticut. But when we're talking about mergers, when we're talking about back office cost savings so that more can be spent on student retention, on bringing down those faculty to student ratios, on improving graduation rates, especially among students of color, I have serious concerns about the legislature interrupting that process. So I respect those who will be voting deeply for the bill. I understand their point of view, but I will be a no vote today.
Thank you, Senator Haskell. Moving on to Representative Vale, followed by Representative Haddad.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just, over the last few days with the public hearings we have really brought up a great concern and very eye-opening for me personally being on this committee now. And I agree with the Senator Haskell's assessment of not interfering academia with politics, but in listening to the public testimony today, the first group of people on the Board of Regents sound more political than any one of us sounds. They're very rehearsed, and the academia that came in and talked in favor of this. Those are the professors that are on the ground teaching the students. So I look at it different from Senator Haskell, but I would agree with his sentiment. And I think this is necessary that we have to do this because I think I have no confidence at all in the Board of Regents from what I've seen. And I think this bill needs to be moved forward, and I will be supporting it. So thank you.
Thank you, Representative Haddad, followed by Representative Wood.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I'm going to support this legislation. Earlier today, we heard that 70% of the operating budget of the community college system comes from the state legislature. And I think that we would gladly provide them that funding for the system that we have now. And I want to do everything I can to support students, and I want to do everything I can to support 12 institutions and 12 colleges that provide so much to so many students. But this bill really, that being said, this bill is not about students first. This bill is about whether or not the legislature should have a role in the decision about what our system looks like. Even at a very basic and minimal level, how many institutions are there? How many campuses are there? And I think that we ought to. I think that we should make sure that when Students First advances, or even if it doesn't, that we have the opportunity to be an equal player in discussing what our overall vision is for the institutions that we have in Connecticut as the major funder of that system. So I don't think this is inconsistent at all. I actually think that the Board of Regents has done an admirable job of putting together a proposal for consideration by NETCHI. I have more faith that NETCHI will be looking very closely at Students First and ensuring that all of the concerns that we have about quality and access are dealt with no matter what happens to Students First. But ultimately, this is not just about Students First. This is about the legislature's vision for higher education and whether or not we should have any role in it at all. And so I support this very modest improvement in our say over that system. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Representative. Moving on to Representative Wood, followed by Representative Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I think the comments on this bill have been quite good. I hear Senator Haskell's point about, do we really want to get in the middle of all this? And then Representative Haddad's viewpoint of the overall vision. You know, the legislature should have an overall vision on this. I've had long concerns, again, representing Norwalk Community College, and I see what a gem it is. There's been little engagement or not enough engagement. I guess we could quibble on not enough or little or whatever, but there's not been adequate, to many of us in this area, not enough engagement from the Board of Regents on this merger. It's not, I mean, Students First is not an accurate name for this. It's not serving the students. We've seen how the concentration has gone way up. The funding has gone to the top in the bureaucracy, and that's not right. There's no cost savings realized. It was purported to save $25 million when it was first conceived of in 2011, when Governor Malloy signed this legislation. It cost more than that. So I don't have the confidence in the Board of Regents right now, as much confidence as I think most of us should have in this. I think our system, community college system, is a gem in our state. It is the future of our state. And I believe we do need oversight right now on this. I will be voting to support this. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. Moving on to Representative Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to echo the sentiments that we've heard from Representative Haddad and Representative Wood and others. We heard today and the other day and saw really a life firsthand experience of the level of communicative dysfunction that occurs right now between the administrative side of the higher education world and the faculty side. And if we look ahead to a future date where a campus is going to be perhaps considered for closing, as we've heard happened in Torrington and saw, without this legislation, certainly we'd be able to bring in the Board of Regents and hear testimony on the rationale for that decision. And we would hear faculty come in and we would hear testimony on the opposite side of that decision. Yet we wouldn't really be in a position to be an arbiter of that conversation or really to have a meaningful role in it, because ultimately we could be yet a third party that gets a day to speak their mind and yet is not heard because there's no consequence to listening to us. So I think it's important that we have this type of legislation in place so that when we do have the board come before us and the faculty to talk about these types of issues, everybody understands that we've got a vital role to play in what that ultimate decision looks like. And that if the questions aren't answered to the proper level of our satisfaction, that particular decision may not go forward. So I also am going to be voting in favor of this legislation for the reasons that I and others have stated. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. Just a few final comments and thoughts. The legislature is a slow, deliberative body, and I would say that the act of evaluating mergers or closing of our universities is a slow and deliberative process. I think that the legislature is perfectly positioned to be a joint player in this process. I would caution professors that just because we can get this potentially out of our committee, the work certainly does not stop there. There are a lot of members of the legislature writ large to convince that this is the way to go. And finally, I will say that Connecticut is far and away the outlier in terms of this process, that the vast majority of legislatures across the US have maintained the power of oversight of closures and mergers. And that to me, I think is the most important bit. And I think it would go a long way if we were a player to ensure that professors were feeling much more heard throughout this process. And we heard today that they were not feeling heard. And I think that's the biggest issue. So with that said, let's move toward a vote. This is again for Roman numeral number 3, item number 8, House Bill 6403. Remember to turn your cameras on and unmute yourselves, and Jeannie, whenever you're ready.
Representative Elliott,
Representative Elliott votes yes.
Senator Slapp,
Senator Slapp votes yes.
Representative Haynes,
Representative Haynes votes yes.
Senator Whitghouse,
Senator Whitcomb votes no.
Representative Turco,
Representative Turco votes yes.
Senator Flexer,
Senator Flexer votes yes.
Representative Ackert,
Representative Ackert votes yes.
Representative Case,
Representative Case votes yes.
Representative Exum,
Representative Exum votes yes.
Representative Farrar,
Representative Farrar votes yes.
Representative Haddad,
Representative Haddad votes yes.
Senator Haskell,
Senator Haskell votes no.
Senator Lopes,
Senator Lopes votes yes.
Senator Maroney,
Senator Maroney votes yes.
Representative Napoli,
Representative Napoli votes yes.
Representative Rochelle,
Representative Rochelle votes yes.
Representative Simmons,
Representative Simmons votes yes.
Representative Smith,
Representative Smith votes yes.
Representative Stallworth,
Representative Stallworth votes yes.
Representative Vale,
Representative Bale votes yes.
Representative Wood,
Representative Wood votes yes.
Representative Ziogas.
Ziogas votes no.
Thank you.
Moving on to the last item. This is Roman numeral number 3, item number 9, House Bill 6580, an act concerning agricultural education programs. Do we have a movement to JF to the floor?
Yes, motion.
Motion by Representative Wood. Do we have a second?
Second, Haynes?
Second by Representative Haynes. Do we have any discussion? Yes, Representative Ackert, go right ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I read through the testimony in the bill and just curious, it seems, so UConn liked the bill. And I was just curious, is this necessary? Do they need this they need the permission from the state to legislature to move forward with this? Is that the key?
Noreen, I don't know the answer to this.
No, they wouldn't need the permission of the state to conduct a study. No.
Okay, so could they just do this? I mean, I'm supporting the bill. I just didn't know if there was a reason why we had to do the bill, that's all.
I mean, I think it relates to if the committee would want to receive any report on their study.
Okay,
That would be the reason for the legislation.
that's what I was wondering. Okay, well, thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you for that, Noreen, and thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Representative. Looking around for other comment, I would ask that this bill be put on consent. And do we have any objection? Seeing none, House Bill 6580 is now on consent. And so that concludes all of our bill review. So let's have a motion to vote on the consent calendar. And as
Haynes. So moved.
moved by Representative Haynes, do we have a second?
Second.
Second.
Second by Representative Wood. And just for clarity, and I hope this doesn't screw up the process, I just want to make sure that we have the bills absolutely correct. This is for items number 2, 3, 5, 7, and 9. That's Senate Bill 954, House Bill 5895, Senate Bill 996, House Bill 5545, and House Bill 6580. Could we just get that motion one more time, Representative Haynes?
Yep, I so moved.
So move Representative Haynes.
Second.
Seconded by Representative Wood. All right, Jeannie, go right ahead.
Okay, Representative Elliott,
Representative Elliott votes yes.
Senator Slapp,
Senator Slapp votes yes.
Representative Haynes,
Then Representative Haynes votes yes.
Senator Whitgos,
Senator Whitcoast votes yes.
Representative Turco,
Representative Turco votes yes.
Senator Flexer,
Senator Flexer votes yes.
Representative Ackert.
Representative Ackert votes yes.
Oh, could you say it again? I didn't see you, sir.
Representative Ackert votes yes.
There we go. Thank you, sir. Representative Case,
Representative Case votes yes.
Representative Exum,
Representative Exum votes yes.
Representative Farrar,
Representative Farrar votes yes.
Representative Haddad,
Representative Haddad votes yes.
Senator Haskell,
Senator Haskell votes yes.
Senator Lopes,
Senator Lopes votes yes.
Senator Maroney,
Senator Maroney votes yes.
Representative Napoli,
Representative Napoli votes yes.
Representative Rochelle,
Representative Rochelle votes yes.
Representative Simmons, Representative Smith,
Representative Smith votes yes.
Representative Stallworth,
Representative Stallworth votes yes.
Representative Vale,
Representative Bale votes yes.
Representative Wood,
Representative Wood votes yes.
Representative Ziogas,
Ziogas votes yes.
Representative Simmons, are you back with us yet? Okay.
All right, everybody. That was a successful meeting, I think. The next committee meeting we're going to have is going to be on March 17th, which is a Wednesday. It'll be at noon. Do we have any final comments from ranking members or my co-chair?
Yes, Mr. Representative, I just wanted to make sure everybody knows that the votes are going to be held open, right, for 2 hours from now, so till 4 o'clock. So for any members who may have missed a vote, our clerk will be on this call, the Zoom call for until 4 p.m. Thank you, Jeannie.
Representative Haynes, Senator Whitcos.
Mr. Chairman, just for the edifice of the members, the next meeting is on a Wednesday because we thought we had a House session on the Tuesday and a Senate session on a Thursday, which would have taken up some of our dates. So leadership went and got approval, and we did not disagree that we needed to have our meeting so we can get our business done. So thank you for doing that, and look forward to seeing everybody on the 17th.
All right, some nice substantive comments at the end. Thank you all. Representative Wood, did you have a comment?
No, just thank you. Goodbye.
All right. Thank you, everybody. We will now adjourn our.
No, you're going to recess.
No, we are
Recess.
recessing, not adjourning. We are recessing for 2 hours.
Thank you, sir.
Get that by the end of this year. Thank you, everybody.
Take care, everybody. Bye.
Representative Stallworth, are you still with me?
Yes, I'm still with you. Still
Okay,
here.
don't leave me.
Okay, yes, no.
Okay, we have House Bill 6229, an act addressing the needs of food insecure students at public institutions of higher education.
Yes, Representative Stallworth votes yes.
Okay, and next, let's see, we have House Bill 6404, an act funding the debt-free community college program.
Representative Stallworth votes yes.
And you got all the others. Thank you, sir.
Oh, awesome. All right, thank you so much.
You're all set. See you later.
Okay, all right, bye-bye.
Okay, Ian, you can take off now. Thank you. Oh, it is you. I was going to say, I hope that's you, Rep. Simmons.
Hi, Jeannie.
So we're on YouTube Live, just so you know, we're still recording.
Oh, great. Okay.
So,
Professional. Thank God I'm not in my pajamas.
so you ready?
Yes.
Okay, the first one we have is House Bill 6229, an act addressing the needs of food insecure students at public institutions of higher education.
Yes. Simmons, yes.
Thank you. Let me put this over here. And next we have House Bill 6404, an act funding the debt-free community college program.
Yes.
You got that. Oh, the consent calendar.
Oh my gosh, I missed that.
I'm hoping you're a yes on the consent calendar.
Yes. Simmons, yes.
We got big problems.
I think I took notes on all the bills that were on it.
You want me to go over it so you know?
The bills that were on it one more time to make sure I didn't miss
Sure.
any.
There was Senate Bill 954, an act requiring reporting of accidental deaths at institutions of higher ed.
Yep.
House Bill 5895, an act establishing a task force on the reduction of student loan debt.
Yep.
Senate Bill 996, an act concerning fundraising by the Foundation of the University of Connecticut. And House Bill 5545, an act concerning the budget of the Connecticut State Colleges and Universities. And House Bill 6580, an act concerning the agricultural education programs.
Yes. Yes. I'm a yes on the consent calendar. Simmons is a yes.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Jeannie. Great to see you. Next
Good to
time we're
see
not
you
live,
too.
we'll have to trade pics of the babies.
Yes. I'm in withdrawal. I haven't seen my granddaughter in ages.
Oh my goodness. Oh.
And I don't know when I'm one of the very few who had an actual allergic reaction.
Oh no.
Because apparently there's a correlation with the Pfizer vaccine if you have severe allergic reactions to wasp venom.
Oh gosh.
So I don't get to get another shot. I'm very upset.
Oh my
So
god.
my family, we don't quite know what to do with me right now.
Oh gosh, I'm so sorry. Oh my goodness. Oh, well, I hope
So
you
it's kind of,
hang in there, stay healthy and safe, and
I'm not letting anybody near me.
yeah, just be extra cautious. Yeah, until things get better. Oh, well, hang in there, Jeannie. Sorry about
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So you give your precious little sons a kiss, give them both a kiss for me, please.
Will do. Will do.
Thank you.
So much, Jeannie. Take care.
Have a good rest of your day.
Thanks for the notification on the votes. You too. Take care.
Yes, thank you. Bye.